All right, so number 19. It would be wrong to conclude that a person has strep infection if there is no other evidence than the fact that strep bacilli are present in the person's throat. All right, so we're saying it'd be wrong to conclude that someone has strep if there's not like additional evidence other than just having like this strep bacterial in the throat. After all, infection does not occur unless the host is physically run down. All right, so our conclusion here is that it would be wrong to conclude that a person has strep if there's no other evidence. And our reason for saying that is that to get strep, you also have to have, you have to be physically run down. All right. So, like, if I was going to put this into my own words, I would say that we are getting to a conclusion by saying, like, hey, you can't have this by just this other thing alone. You also need this other thing too. All right. So A says when a person experiences blurred vision, it does not follow that a physical defect in the person's eyes is the cause. Okay, I don't like that this is saying that we're saying that a physical defect, we're saying like it's not the this is not the effect. Um and then it says since blurring of a person's vision also can be induced by certain drugs. Yeah, I don't like this one because we're saying that whenever people have blurred vision, it does not follow that it's a physical defect in the person's eyes. It could be because of certain drugs. Well, that's not, this would be a better answer if it said like it doesn't mean that it's like a physical defect alone. It also needs this other thing. So that's why A is wrong. B says, even if a healthy lavender plant receives 6 or more hours of direct sunlight each day, one cannot predict on that basis alone that the plant will bloom because lavender requires both 6 or more hours of sunlight per day and slightly alkaline soil to bloom. All right, I like this one because it's saying that getting 6 hours of sunlight a day is not enough for the flower to bloom. But if the flower blooms, it's because like it also needs this other thing, which is alkaline soil. So I really like B. C says when a bee colony fails to survive the winter, it would be wrong to conclude that low temperatures were the cause. All right, so we're saying that um, it's wrong to conclude that temperature is the cause of a bee colony for not surviving the winter. Bees have very good defense mechanisms against extreme cold, which are designed to ensure. Okay, I don't like this one because this is saying that low temperatures, like it's wrong to say low temperatures were the cause. Where our conclusion is saying like there has to be like it's wrong to conclude this if there's not other evidence. So like in addition to this thing, so I don't like C. D says a female holly plant cannot produce berries without a male plant nearby to provide pollen. Okay, so we can't have berries unless we have a male nearby, but it does not follow that 2 or more male hollies in the vicinity will cause a female plant to bear more berries than it would with only one. Yeah, okay, so we don't bring in like a quantity at all by saying 2 or more males. Like it does not follow that 2 or more males will bear more. We're not talking about that at all. Like, oh, this is what you would get strep worse if you had two bacterias present. So I don't like D. And then E says a person cannot be presumed to be hypertensive on the basis of high reading for blood pressure that is exceptional for that person. Okay, so we can't assume um that a person is hypertensive on the basis of just like reading for blood pressure that is or like a just because a person has high blood pressure for themselves, since only people with chronically high blood pressure are properly called hypertensive. Okay, I don't like this one because we don't have like this other thing that is required for a person to be hypertensive. It's just saying that only people that actually have chronically high blood pressure can be called hypertensive if it's like a scary reading. And so then I don't like E, and so our answer is going to be B.